I've never really taken the time. I'm not going to look at the camera because I'm driving. But I haven't really taken the time yet to explain what this channel is all about and what the whole idea is behind making art in my leisure. And I wanted to take some time to talk about it right now because it's been on my mind, and I feel like these videos are good to make when you kind of have that, like, hey, I should talk about this right now, when it's fresh. Making art in my leisure is really all about the idea that normal people can also make art, right? I think there's this idea in history that art was really only made by professionals. So that art was only made by people who were full-time. For me, like, I'm a saxophone player, but like I'm a normal one, maybe like average, I'm just a normal guy. This isn't obviously like what I do for my career or what I do for a living. But historically, and even in a contemporary setting, we think that only professionals can play saxophone and post about it and tell people about it and make it a big part of their lives. Same thing with painting. Like, when we think about people who paint, we think, oh, I can't do that, I'm not a painter, or I can't do that, I'm not an artist, I just, have a job, or I have a business, or whatever. That's reserved for the professionals. And making art in my leisure is all about the idea of promoting that normal people during their free time can make art, even if it's not good, even if they're average. But it's something that I think is healthy for us to do, not only for our own minds and for our own lives, but for society as well. And another reason why I was thinking about this was because I was listening to my Spotify, and you know how Spotify works. You kind of just have like a regular rolling playlist of different songs, and the Spotify will kind of like recommend to you other songs that are within that genre. And so I was listening to jazz music, and I noticed that an AI artist was fully AI, fully computer generated, an entire persona with a name, with a face and everything, but it was entirely AI. And it dawned on me that, like, this is happening. And I'm not saying I have anything wrong with it, by the way. I'm not like anti-technology. I'm not resisting the future, resisting progress. I'm not one of those people. And maybe AI art will have a place in our society and in our future. But it does beg the question of, like, if normal people like me, like you, if we don't create art and we don't improve and we don't post our creations, what if we just live in a world where it's only AI that's creating the art? Because if normal people aren't painting, normal people aren't writing, normal people aren't playing music, and I understand that's a privilege and a luxury, you need to have enough time and enough bandwidth to do that, so I'm not ignorant to that. But if we as a society of normal people, if we don't participate in the arts and we don't create art, what is the world going to look like in 20 years? And maybe in a more utopian scenario or a more utopian society, we actually get more of our time back because of AI. Then we have more free time and more leisure that we can spend creating things that are uniquely human. And I feel like art, while it can be done by a computer, it is uniquely human because it is a way that we connect to each other. It's a way that we express and describe our emotions in a way that a human can only do and be understood by another human. So that's the entire premise behind making art in my leisure. The importance in my life of what I consider to be an important thing of just being a normal person who's not uniquely gifted, who's not a professional, who doesn't have all the time to be doing this, but finds an importance to be progressing and sharing in the arts from the perspective of a normal person. And my hope is to inspire other people to engage with that as well, because we don't know what the next few decades are going to look like for us. And I have a feeling that art and expression and leisure time are going to become very important aspects, for better or for worse, within our society. So this is what making art in my leisure is all about. I hope I communicated that well. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you, listening to the other videos as well. So cheers, happy holidays. We're almost to the 25th here, Christmas. So happy holidays, take care, and I hope everyone has a blessed, fruitful, joyous, happy, peaceful 2026.